are you when no one is watching? Insights from Buddhism. Chapter 1. The Illusion of a Permanent Self. Have you ever stopped to wonder who you truly are when no one is around? When the masks come off, the roles fade away, and you're left alone with your thoughts. What remains? Is there a solid, unchanging you at the core, or is the self something more fluid, more elusive? Think about it. At work, you might be the diligent professional, always on time, always prepared. With friends, you're the life of the party, cracking jokes and sharing stories. With family, you might slip into the role of the caregiver, the peacemaker, or the rebel. But when you're alone, who are you then? Are you the sum of these roles, or is there something deeper, something more authentic? Buddhism offers a radical perspective. The self is not a fixed entity, but a constantly shifting process. There's no permanent you to be found, only a stream of experiences, thoughts, and sensations that arise and pass away like waves in the ocean. This idea might feel unsettling at first. After all, we're taught to believe in a stable, unchanging identity. We're told to be true to ourselves, but what if there's no self to be true to? The Buddha taught that what we call the self is made up of 5 aggregates or skandhas. These are the building blocks of our experience. Number 1, form, the physical body which is always changing, growing, aging, and transforming. Number 2, sensation, the feelings that arise in response to the world, pleasure, pain, or neutrality. Number 3, perception, the way we recognize and categorize our experiences. Number 4, mental formations, the thoughts, emotions, and intentions that shape our actions. Number 5, consciousness, the awareness that perceives all of these experiences. None of these aggregates are permanent. Your body isn't the same as it was 10 years ago. Your thoughts and emotions are in constant flux. Even your consciousness shifts from moment to moment. So if every part of you is always changing, where is the solid, unchanging you? This question isn't just philosophical, it's deeply practical. When we cling to the idea of a fixed self, we suffer. We resist change, fear loss, and struggle to maintain an image of who we think we should be. But what if we let go of that struggle? What if we embraced the truth that the self is fluid, ever-changing, and ultimately ungraspable? Imagine a river. From a distance, it appears to be a single, continuous entity. But up close, you see that it's made up of countless drops of water, each one constantly moving, shifting, and flowing. The river is never the same from one moment to the next, yet we still call it by the same name. In the same way, the self is a process, not a thing. It's a flow of experiences, not a fixed identity. So when no one is watching, who are you? Perhaps the answer isn't a thing to be found, but a process to be observed. Maybe the real freedom lies in letting go of the need to define yourself at all. Instead of clinging to a fixed idea of who you are, you can simply be, moment by moment, breath by breath. Chapter 2. The Observer Illusion. If there's no fixed self, then who is it that's experiencing life? Who is the one looking through your eyes, thinking your thoughts, and feeling your emotions? This question has puzzled philosophers, scientists, and spiritual seekers for centuries. It feels undeniable. There's a me inside, watching, observing, and making sense of the world. But is this observer real, or is it just another trick of the mind? Close your eyes for a moment. Even in the silence, there's an awareness, a sense that someone is here experiencing this moment. It feels like there's a little you behind your eyes, a silent witness to everything that happens. This sense of an internal observer is so strong that many assume it must be proof of a soul or a permanent self. But is it? Modern neuroscience has searched for the seat of the self in the brain, but no single location has been found. Thoughts arise from different regions, emotions light up various networks, and memories are scattered across the brain. There's no tiny homunculus sitting in your head pulling the strings. Instead, the brain is a dynamic, ever-changing process. The sense of an I that observes is just another experience arising within this process. In Buddhism, this illusion is called the asterisk false view of self. The thinking mind assumes that because there's awareness, there must be someone doing the awareness. But awareness isn't owned by anyone. It's simply there, like light in a room. The light doesn't belong to any particular object. It just illuminates everything. In the same way, awareness isn't something you possess. It's something that happens. Imagine sitting by a river, watching the water flow. Thoughts and sensations pass through your mind like the current, constantly moving, changing, and dissolving. But where is the you in all of this? Are you the water, the observer sitting by the river, or both? The truth is, the separation between observer and observed is an illusion. In deep meditation, many people find that the feeling of a separate watcher disappears. There's just seeing, hearing, feeling, all happening on their own. This idea can be challenging because it goes against how we normally experience life. We feel like we're inside our bodies, looking out at the world. But this is just a trick of perception. Our eyes are positioned in front, so it feels like we exist somewhere behind them, controlling the body. But this is just perspective, not reality. Think of it like wearing a virtual reality headset. When you move your head, the digital world shifts accordingly, creating the illusion that you're inside the virtual space. But of course, you're not. You're just experiencing a convincing simulation. In the same way, the feeling of a solid self inside your head is an illusion generated by the brain. Buddhism offers a different way of seeing this. Instead of assuming there's a separate I controlling life, we can recognize that life is just happening without a fixed owner. The mind, the body, and all experiences arise and pass away on their own. Consciousness isn't a thing but a process, like a mirror reflecting images. The mirror doesn't own the reflections. It simply allows them to appear and disappear. In the same way, awareness doesn't belong to anyone. It's simply there, witnessing the flow of existence without attachment. But if there's no fixed self, does that mean life is meaningless? Not at all. In fact, it means quite the opposite. Realizing that the self is an illusion brings an incredible sense of freedom. You're not trapped by your past, not confined to a rigid identity, not burdened by the need to constantly defend a fragile sense of self. Life becomes fluid, open, and ever-changing, just as it has always been. So the next time you ask yourself, "Who am I?" pause. Instead of searching for an answer in your thoughts, simply notice the awareness in which the question arises. That awareness doesn't belong to anyone. It's not inside your head or outside of it, it's simply here. And in that recognition, you might find something more profound than an identity. You might find freedom itself. Chapter 3. The illusion of separation. If the self isn't a fixed entity, then what about the boundaries we draw between ourselves and the world? Why do we feel so separate from everything around us? We say "I" to distinguish ourselves from others. We see our body as a distinct unit, and we feel like our thoughts belong to us alone. But is this feeling of separation real, or is it just another trick of the mind? Take a deep breath. The air that just entered your lungs was, moments ago, part of the environment. It circulated through trees, passed through other living beings, and now it's inside you. In a few seconds, it will leave your body and merge back into the world. So where exactly does you end and the world begin? Your body is constantly exchanging atoms with everything around you. Every bite of food, every sip of water, every breath keeps you connected to the world in ways we rarely think about. Science confirms this interconnectedness. The cells in your body aren't the same ones you had years ago. Your skin regenerates, your bones rebuild, and even the neurons in your brain are constantly renewing themselves. The body you have today isn't the same one you had as a child. This continuous transformation shows that the boundary we imagine between self and other isn't as solid as we think. Buddhism has been pointing to this illusion of separateness for centuries. The Buddha taught that everything arises due to causes and conditions. Nothing exists independently. This is called interdependent origination, the idea that everything is interconnected. Just like a wave isn't separate from the ocean, we aren't separate from the universe. The self isn't an isolated island, but part of an ever-moving, ever-changing flow of existence. But if we're not truly separate, why do we feel this way? The mind naturally sorts experiences into me and not me. This is likely linked to our survival instinct. We need to distinguish ourselves from potential threats. From a young age, we're taught to identify with a name, a body, a set of memories. This sense of ownership creates a kind of psychological wall that makes us feel distinct. But when we look closely, we see that all the things we call mine, my clothes, my house, my ideas, even my body, are actually borrowed from the world. The body is built from food, thoughts are shaped by experience, and even emotions are influenced by the people around us. There's no clear dividing line between me and everything else. Some people worry that if they let go of the idea of a separate me, life will lose its meaning. But in truth, it's the opposite. Understanding our deep connection to all things dissolves the illusion of loneliness and struggle. I remember once walking in the forest, I suddenly felt this overwhelming sense of connection to everything around me. The trees, the birds, the air. It was like the boundaries of me just dissolved, and I felt a sense of peace I'd never experienced before. When we stop clinging to a rigid sense of identity, we become more open, more compassionate. There's no need to struggle to protect a self that's always in flux. Instead, we can flow with life, embracing each moment as it comes. The self, like a rainbow, appears real from a distance. But when you get closer, you see it's just light and water, an appearance, not a solid thing. In the same way, the idea of a separate I is just a construction of the mind. And when that illusion fades, what remains is not emptiness, but a sense of boundless connection. It's like being a drop of water that realizes it's part of the ocean. Not separate, not alone, but part of something vast and beautiful. Chapter 4, The Ultimate Question, Who Are You? The search for a true, unchanging self is like chasing a mirage. The harder you try to grasp it, the more it slips away. The Buddha taught that asking, "Who am I?" isn't meant to give you a fixed answer. It's a doorway to a deeper understanding. It's like a Zen koan, a question that can't be solved with logic. The self isn't an object you can find, but a process to witness. So what does it mean to witness the self? It means paying attention to the ever-changing flow of experience without trying to hold on to anything. I used to do this all the time. Define myself by my achievements, my failures, my past relationships. We often define ourselves by our past, but the past is just memory, an echo of things that no longer exist. We project ourselves into the future, but the future is just imagination, a story we create based on hopes and fears. But what's left if we let go of both past and future? What exists beyond the stories we tell ourselves about who we are? The truth is, the only thing that ever exists is this moment. And within this moment, the self is fluid, undefined, and free from the weight of a fixed identity. The mind, shaped by years of habit, clings to continuity. It wants to create a solid story, holding on to names, roles, and experiences as if they were solid things. I am this, it insists. I was that, I will be this. But these are just thoughts, coming and going like waves on the ocean. If you look beyond these mental formations, what's left? Not a solid entity, not an owner of experience, but awareness itself, vast, open, and unattached. This awareness is different from consciousness. Consciousness is one of the 5 aggregates, the part that experiences. Awareness is the space in which all experience happens. This is why the Buddha didn't give a straight answer to, "Who am I?" Any answer would just create another concept, another illusion to hold on to. Instead, he encouraged direct experience, watching the self arise and dissolve in each moment. When you observe with clarity, you start to see that the self isn't a thing but an activity, a stream of ever-changing sensations, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness. The Buddha also warned about falling into extremes when thinking about the self. One extreme is eternalism asterisk, believing there's a fixed, unchanging soul that lives forever. The other is nihilism asterisk, thinking nothing exists at all, that life is meaningless. The middle way avoids both traps. The self isn't a permanent entity, but it's not a complete void either. It's a dynamic dance of causes and conditions. Understanding this balance frees us from rigid identities and destructive doubt. Realizing this isn't something you just think about, it's a practice. It's not about reaching a final answer, but about letting go of the need for one. When you stop grasping for a fixed self, you stop fearing change. You stop resisting the fact that everything is impermanent. And in that surrender, there's a profound freedom. Freedom from attachment, from suffering, from the illusion of being separate. You're not a static thing moving through time. You are the present moment unfolding, boundless and always new. You are life itself, expressing itself in this unique and ever-changing way. The question, "Who am I?" isn't meant to be answered. It's meant to be lived. And in that living, you might just find that the answer was never a thing to be found, but a way of being.